All right, you guys. So I don't have anything to deadhead in my garden yet. We've had a longer than usual winter. I usually have more of a garden at this point. Um, so if you look at my slope, so this green and yellow thing here, that's an agave. That's a variegated agave. And then this one is a blue agave. If you look between them on that concrete wall up there, that's a big lavender bush. And you can maybe see that some flowers are starting to grow on it. That's one of those things that as soon as those flowers have bloomed, and they've done their thing for the bees, and the bees have been able to get pollen and nectar from them, it's time to cut them. The more I cut it, the more flowers it grows. And that's what deadheading is. Okay? A flower that becomes dead needs to be dead headed. Okay? You got to take off all of those dead heads. We don't want dead heads around. They're kind of a drain, those dead heads. So what's going on is the lavender will continue to put energy into those flowers in order to make the seeds those flowers are intended for, in terms of how the plant is thinking about it. So I don't want it to put energy into making those seeds. I already have the lavender bush. I don't want more lavender bushes right there. So I don't want it to seed itself, anything like that. Plus, lavender doesn't grow very well by itself here. It doesn't germinate well here. It grows once it's established. It does not germinate well here. So I'm going to go cut those flowers off as soon as they start to die back, so that the plant can put its energy into making more pollen and nectar and new fresh flowers to attract more bees, because I want the carpenter bees in my garden. They're not going to sting me. They're not going to sting any guests. They're just going to pollinate my stuff. So I want them here. So that's what that bush is there for. It's there for that, and to look pretty and to smell nice. So I'm going to go deadhead it as soon as those flowers are dying back, and before it's putting a bunch of energy into making seeds. The same thing is true with like roses, for example. You get this nice, big, beautiful bloom, and then the minute the bloom starts to fade, that means it's time to go cut that bloom off, because then the plant will grow a new bloom for you. The more you deadhead, the more you cut off the dying back flowers, the more new flowers will grow. This is especially true herbs, things like that. You want to cut them back as often as you possibly can. When it comes time for harvesting things, so like whether it's zucchini or okra, things like that, you want to try to harvest things while they're still kind of young. Okay, this isn't true for winter squashes, for example. You need to let those fruits develop. But like with something like zucchini, if you harvest it when it's still young, then the plant will put energy into making more for you. If you let it get big and big and big and big, and you wait for it to be fully, totally developed, now it's really only useful for making zucchini bread. You can't just, it's not going to taste as good for like just a stir fry or things like that. And your plant has had to put a lot of energy into that one zucchini instead of being able to grow more small zucchinis. So the whole deadheading concept totally works for plants and herbs and things like that that are, you know, you're growing flowers, and also works for a lot of the things you might grow in your garden for their fruits and vegetables. So keep on top of that deadheading too.